Ah, David Davis. To think, once upon those many years ago, David Davis was the man who was leading our Brexit negotiations. Yet, as we often said back in those days, David Davis was one of the most clueless people to know anything about the EU. It was shocking that he was a man going to the EU who knew nothing about it. Yet, when he came back with the deal that he had negotiated on behalf of Theresa May's government, he then immediately quit because it wasn't the Brexit that, quote, he voted for. And thus, ever since Davis quit, Davis has been pretty much in lockstep with the Brexit ultras, wanting like the most hardest possible Brexit. For them, it will be a no-deal Brexit. That to them is the Brexit they want, and the Brexit they've been pushing the UK very successfully towards now for the past over 4 years. But it would do huge damage. But as we're about to find out, even now, even though that Davis has been so quiet over all this time, he still doesn't know or understand the EU. So let's get into it today. So this comes from the Yorkshire Bylines. And the title of the article is David Davis reveals that he's still clueless on Brexit after 4 years. So the former Brexit Secretary David Davis, the man responsible for our withdrawal from the EU between 2016 and his resignation in 2018, has revealed once again that he is simply does not understand Brexit. He is, as my mother would have said it, he's dim as a T-Hawk lamp. You definitely have to Google that. So the Haltemer Price and Howden MP tweeted almost joyfully yesterday about a report from the German insurance giant Allianz, I think that's how you say it, forecasting that a no-deal Brexit would cost the EU 33 billion euros in lost exports, including 8.2 billion for Germany. He said it was only the latest series of reports showing huge damage of no deal to the EU 27. The figure is correct, but he admitted another figure, that the 8.2 billion represented just 0.6% of total German exports. The same report explained that the UK, on the other hand, would see a drop of 15% in total exports. In other words, we are to be hit 25 times harder than Germany. Yes, the EU 27 would sustain damage, but what about us? German industry, along with the other EU trade bodies, is pressing both sides to reach a deal, while Davis jeers from the sidelines like a mindless England football hooligan, naked from the waist up, in the middle of winter, shows how hard he is, and shouting obscenities at the opposition. In his Twitter thread, he also mentions a Hale Institute report from 2019, laughably claiming that the highly respected German think tank was forecasting that in an event of the hard Brexit, the EU could lose over 400,000 jobs, while we would suffer just 12,000. This is so wrong, one wonders if he actually read the report. The huge disparity alone should have told the former Tail and Light executive that the ridiculously low figure was wrong. He even wrote an article about this in the Telegraph of July of last year. And of course, this is completely false. Let me try and enlighten the man Dominic Cummings once said was as thick as mince. The Hale report was measuring job losses in the EU 27 and in third country supply chains of the EU countries likely to impact. They were not even looking at direct UK job losses, because after a no-deal Brexit, we wouldn't be a member of the EU. Of all people, you would have thought Davis might have twigged that, but apparently not. They identified direct and indirect job losses in the EU 27 countries as well as indirect job losses only in 16 non-EU countries, those with supply chains delivering into the EU, including Japan, the USA, and the UK. So in the article, there are you get to see this the bar charts that they've produced. So the bar chart is what Hale produced. So direct job losses are in blue, indirect are in green. So Germany, far less on the far left, loses about 39,000 direct jobs and a further 36,000 indirect jobs supplying intermediate parts that go to the final product. Note that the non-EU countries, including GBR, only show indirect job losses, and you can see clearer in the expanded section below. What Hale found was a total of 612,000 jobs would be lost worldwide as a result of the impact of a no-deal Brexit on businesses within the EU. 422,000 of those jobs would be in the EU itself, and the rest of the supply chains in those countries outside the EU. The UK was included as a third country outside the EU. It's obvious when you think about it, but apparently it went over Davis's head. Britain's EU business supply chains would see over 12,000 job losses. China would lose over 58,000 job losses. Japan over 3,000, and so on. But these would be massive direct job losses among UK exporters who make finished products for exports to the EU, which Hale didn't report or even measure at all. So how many jobs would be lost? We just don't know, because the UK government refuses to publish an impact assessment. However, we can infer from the alliance that Germany's loss of 0.6% of its total export equates to over 100,000 jobs at the Hale on the Hale report. So Britain is set to lose 15% of its total exports, or 25 times as much. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Apparently not as much as David Davis. So, as I've said before, we are in for real troubling times, and I really do worry about our future, especially in the north. We are going to see massive job losses, and again, the Brexiteers pitched this as this would make people's lives better. It is absolutely not going to make people's lives better in any way, shape or form. And there is going to be some intense anger at these people when people finally realise, and trust me, they will realise what happened. Because they were told leaving the EU would somehow make us better. It's not going to make us better in any way, shape or form. And like I say, 0.6% is nothing to Germany. Nothing. You know, when we say these numbers, you know, they are big numbers, but in terms of like country GDP, you know, 0.6% is nothing. Imagine for a second if you gave someone like 0.6% of your income, it would probably be about like a couple of pence, even maybe £1 at most. Depending on, obviously, on your income. But it just goes to show you the level of numbers that we've got to try and talk about when we've got to talk about to people who are economically illiterate. And that's what I often try to do when I talk about these numbers. And I always make this comparison of, look, these may sound like, you know, £1 billion is like, you know, a lot of money to someone like you or I. But when you're talking country GDPs, it's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. So, as always, please do hit that like and share button. If you would look like... oh, I don't know what that was. If you would like to support the channel in another way, I do have links down below to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link, should you like to support the channel in that way. And thank you very much to the people who do support the channel in that way. Your support is very, very much appreciated. So, with that said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.